meat tastes good. That's why all of these fake meat companies try to make it taste like meat. It never actually comes to fruition because it still tastes like crap.
Piers Morgan today did a debate with this vegan activist, and he brought Tomi Lahren in to counter the vegan activists. And what can I say? It was just content. We're going to sit down and watch it. Some of you know how much I like dogging on and dunking on vegans. So let's just get right into this, and I'll give you my thoughts as we go, okay? Let's take a look.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Celebrities are denouncing veganism en masse. The market for plant-based gruel's fallen off a cliff. It's increasingly likely that the rest of the world agrees with me, which is often what happens with issues. Infamous activist Tash Peterson, better known as Vegan Booty, is on a mission to change people's minds by all means necessary. So is veganism here to stay, or as dead as a steak on my plate later this evening? I'm joined by Vegan Booty, Tash Peterson, and Outkick host and Fox commentator Tomi Lahren. All right. Would you go by the name Vegan or Vegan, Miss Booty, or what?
Tash Peterson.
Vegan Booty. What a serious name. Okay, by the way, guys, just want to point this out before we start. So she has a shirt on that says "End this Holocaust." Okay, and that's her whole vegan thing is Holocaust. Okay. Now, I'm not here to get offended or oh my god, but imagine if like anyone else did that. Right? Imagine if anyone on the right wing, well, you saw, look what happened when Marjorie Taylor Greene made a certain comparison, right? Oh my gosh, you can't say that. Just notice that. Just pay attention to the shirt she's wearing, okay? The animal holocaust. By societal standards. Again, I'm not for, I'm not for censoring or, getting offended, but I'm just saying by societal standards, this would be highly inappropriate if a right-winger did it. Just pointing that out, but here we go.
Veganism's going out of fashion. Meatless Farm announced their ending production. Beyond Meat shares crashed 95%. Most vegan companies in this country, lack of consumer demand now. I think people have got a bit fed up with it. I think one of the reasons is they're fed up with being shouted at. You're one of these people that runs into restaurants and plays, sounds from screaming animals in abattoirs and so on. I know you care passionately about it. I think it's very off-putting. It's a bit like the Just Stop Oil protesters doing a lot of their stuff. It just annoys people. Has the opposite effect to what you hope.
I'll tell you what else, though, Piers. I don't think it's just because vegans are annoying, which they are. They're very annoying. But I also know of a lot of people, especially women, who have tried going vegan, because this is fad. People think it's healthier. People, there's less fat or whatever. And they report very adverse side effects, right? Most women I know who've tried to go vegan, they report, my hair was falling out, so I had to stop. And then men, as you can imagine, you don't get the testosterone or the protein necessary, the non-plant-based protein, I should say, necessary, as you can imagine, right? It is not biologically correct. And I think a big reason veganism has not lasted as a trend, and yeah, you're right, is dying out, and no one's really, do you really know that many vegans anymore? It's dying out, not just because they're annoying, which they are, and unserious, but also, I would argue, a lot of people have genuinely tried to be vegan and they've just realized how unnatural and bad it is for your body, which it is, right? Veganism is not natural. Human beings are supposed to eat meat. They are. And I know the vegans say, you can still get protein from plant-based stuff. It's not the same type of protein. Soy and plant-based protein and animal-based protein are totally different things, okay? Just gonna say, but let's continue here.
No, I don't think so at all. I think it brings more attention to the animal holocaust. Animals are subjected to rape, torture, enslavement, abuse, and murder, and I'm bringing light to that. And I'm seeing
why would you use the word? Why
vegan.
Use the word Holocaust? Holocaust is the mass extermination of more than 6 million Jewish people by Adolf Hitler and the Nazis.
Well, that is one Holocaust in history.
Why would you avoid? People know that as the Holocaust. Why would you use that kind of very emotive language, knowing it would offend a lot of people?
Well, it's just a factual statement. If you look at the definition of a Holocaust, it is slaughter or destruction on a mass scale. Multiple Holocausts have occurred throughout human history, and non-human animals can be subjected to the same atrocities that humans can. In fact, it's the...
I knew so many girls like this in high school. This reminds me of high school. Look at the way she does her hair, the makeup. You fellow Gen Zers, you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know, right?
Largest Holocaust in history, with 3 trillion individuals brutally murdered every year for human food consumption.
All right, Tomi, you're from a ranching family. I don't know about you. I don't mind people being vegan. If you don't want to eat meat, it's absolutely fine. And I get some of the reasons why they don't want to, personal choice, they care about animals and so on. Although I would point out animals eat a lot of animals, just for the record, naturally. What do you feel about this whole vegan debate? Are we getting bored with it? It seems to me from all the sales in the UK and stuff, it's kind of going out of fashion. Like it was a fad for a lot of people. They've gone back to munching meat.
Well, veganism is an ethic.
I'm asking Tomi, sorry.
Yeah, I think a lot of people realize that it wasn't, in fact, the healthier choice, because when they choose this Beyond Meat or these other substitutes, it's actually just packed with different fillers. So it's not actually this cleaner option like a lot of people thought at the onset of the whole vegan craze. But I got to tell you, speaking...
That's true. You guys remember when the older people on this channel, remember that video where we reacted to the vegan recipes? Remember that? They put so much salt and seasoning in this stuff because they're trying to make bland mushrooms taste like chicken. And so they basically douse the thing in seasoning and sodium and fry it up and do all this stuff. And then they're like, tastes like chicken. That's not healthy. There's no world in which that's healthier, right? The amount of seasoning, you have to deep fry it to make it remotely taste good. But guys, eating a normal steak is bad for you. You got to eat this mushroom that's like coated in salt and seasoning and fat and all this stuff. It is crazy. Now, one thing I will say, you know, the common talking point is I don't have a problem with people being vegan. It's your choice. Just don't force it on me. I will say, like, I don't believe, obviously I'm not going to go to anyone and force you to eat a steak or whatever. But I will say, I do actually have an active criticism of the lifestyle. And I would argue it is unhealthy, it is wrong, it is something that should actively be kind of discouraged and ridiculed and promoted. And I would never allow my kids to be vegan even if they wanted to, because it's not healthy, it's not good for your body. And you can kind of see this. Just look at the physiognomy, look at the physical condition of vegans, especially vegan men. I think women can more so get away with it. But the big thing about being vegan, which is, you know, I kind of argue this is a reason they want to push it on everyone, is it's really hard for men to get their testosterone boosting stuff in through just plant-based, right? Because that's where we get that stuff, that animal-based protein, right? There's a reason why, especially when you look at vegan men, you can always tell there's just something off about their physical appearance. They seem particularly just skinny and just small, you know, even if they work out, even if they're quote unquote in shape. And I'd argue that's because it is just not biologically natural for men. Men especially, more than women especially, need meat. They don't just need protein, because people say, oh, well, you can get protein in a vegan diet. They need animal-based protein. And so, you know, like I said, not going to force anyone to not be vegan, but I would say I think it's a lifestyle that we should actively discourage, and it's not a matter of your personal choice. I will actively judge you for being a vegan and try to get you to stop, because it's not a healthy lifestyle, like genuinely.
Speaking of the animal holocaust, which I think is a ridiculous thing to say, I'm from a ranching family, I'm from a ranching state. There's nobody that cares more for their animals than those in the ranching and farming communities. Now, I'm against factory ranching and farming as well, by the way. I think that that's atrocious. I'm an animal lover.
I agree.
But as somebody who comes from a ranching family, I can tell you that ranchers and farmers care for their livestock dearly. Yes, it does at the end of the day turn into a product for human consumption. But that doesn't mean that it is always inhumane, that it's always disgusting, that it's this animal holocaust or genocide, as your guest was referring to it as. It's also really annoying to me when people try to say that animals are causing climate change. I mean, if you don't want to eat animals because you love animals, or you have a health reason that prevents you from eating animals, that's fine. But this whole environmental craze that we need to get rid of animals because they're causing climate change, that's also a step too far, and part of the reason why this whole vegan craze is going out the window.
Yeah, and you know, Bear Grylls said recently, I was a vegan quite a few years. He said, but I thought it was good for the environment, I thought it was good for my health, and through time and experience and knowledge and study, I realised I was wrong on both counts. It was bad for the environment, bad for his health.
Yep.
He was never a vegan in the first place. Veganism is an ethical view against animal abuse and murder. If you're against animal abuse and murder...
He was never a vegan in the first place. So you guys got that? All you guys who tried going vegan in the chat who are saying it, you tried going vegan and, you know, you had problems. It's just because you were never vegan in the first place.
You never contributed to it.
It's all
again.
fake.
He wrote a vegan cookbook.
It wasn't actually a vegan cookbook. It contained animal abuse and
So you're
murder
saying
products.
Bear Grylls was a fake vegan?
He never was a vegan.
He was a vegan?
No, absolutely.
You're saying he's a liar? He's not a liar.
No, well, I've looked at the cookbook.
You may
and
not
there
have
were
liked,
animal products.
you may not have liked the fact that he went back to eating meat, but he was a vegan for quite a while.
Well, people
just
go by
realised.
that label all the time, but if they actually truly hold their ethical view against animal abuse and murder, then they would never turn back on veganism.
You know, Tommy, over here, I railed against vegan sausage rolls. I didn't like the way they appropriated the language of meat products. I don't think vegan companies should be allowed to use words like sausage rolls or steaks, because that's meat.
True.
Yeah, exactly. And they're filled with soy.
By the way, I think if I'm not mistaken, there's a country that made that illegal. It might be Italy. I'm not sure which one. There's a country that actually banned that. They said you cannot label impossible meat as meat. Like, you can't use that phraseology. You have to say this is whatever, but you can't say this is impossible sausage or beyond sausage. You can't be misleading about it. But I will say the fact that they have to do it does kind of tell you, oh, human beings are not meant to eat meat, and it's so unnatural. This is what they say. They say human beings are natural, herbivores, and it's a psyop. You're not supposed to eat meat. But in order to perpetuate the vegan movement, they have to create fake meat out of soy products. Yeah, what does that say? Yeah, many such cases. All right.
And fillers and other disgusting things that you actually don't want to put into your body. And meat tastes good. That's why all of these fake meat companies try to make it taste like meat.
Correct.
It never actually comes to fruition because it still tastes like crap. And I would also point out, during COVID, when we were having shortages in the grocery store, if you looked for meat, it was sometimes hard to find, at least here in the US. But that Beyond Meat crap, that was always available because people don't want it. The consumers are deciding that they want maybe an organic option, maybe a free range option, but people still want to eat meat. And you can eat meat and respect animals at the same time. It can be done. It's been done since the dawn of time.
But we are beyond meat now. We're going back to munching meat. I love meat. I won't be persuaded otherwise. And I think there are better tactics than running into restaurants and playing noises of screaming animals. Personally. But thank you for coming on the programme.
So let's actually ask that question, though. So why does meat, like Tomi Lahren says, why does meat taste so good to us? Okay, let me make sense. All these people are atheists, evolutionary believers. They believe in evolution. So have you ever considered that maybe the reason meat does taste so good to us as humans is because we are supposed to eat it, right? Whereas, this might be a hot take, but hear me out. Whereas vegetables are kind of in a way a psyop because vegetables don't taste good to us. And maybe, I'm not anti-eating vegetables, but it's actually kind of a psyop in my opinion. It's propaganda, this idea. Just eat less meat, eat more vegetables. Do you see why that could be the case, right? Because if you believe in evolution, you believe over time we develop the traits that are favorable to our survivability, then why is it that us human beings, we think meat tastes so good and we always want meat and we always have a constant craving for meat? Could it be because the human beings historically, throughout ancient history, according to the theory of evolution, which I honestly don't personally believe in, but just using that logic, right? Could that be because, the human beings who ate meat were more likely to survive than the human beings who didn't because they were stronger, they were healthier, they were faster, all of that different stuff? I would argue that from a scientific perspective, you could easily rationalize and understand just the very fact that meat does taste good to us, in my opinion, 100% proves that human beings are supposed to eat meat. I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts on it. I think you can evolutionarily understand that. Furthermore, what I will say about this evolution thing is that, even if you want to be the scientific materialist about it. Now, the reason I believe, right, in eating meat is because the Bible, God, gives us, dominion over the plants and animals of the earth, right? That's clearly stated to us. But from a scientific perspective, even if you want to talk about evolution, right, that's part of the food chain, is it not? The rest of the world, you guys say that human beings are animals. So what's wrong with us acting like animals and taking advantage of the food chain either? I don't know. My opinion on veganism, though, it's just totally backwards. It's wrong. I would argue in some ways, I kind of see the ways in which I'd argue it's satanic in many ways, because it basically takes, like I said, and this is my religious belief, but, it's true. Human beings, right? God gives us dominion over the earth, right? Over the plants and the animals. Plants and the animals are down here, right? We have dominion over them. We are given by God authority over them. And what does Satan try to do? He twists it and says, no. Plants, animals and human beings are the same thing, and they all deserve the same equal rights when they, very obviously, clearly don't. There you go, right? And then obviously all these vegans are forced down a diet and a moral code that is frankly just completely wrong and backwards. I don't know. That's my personal thoughts. Let me know yours on veganism, but... Hey guys, guys, Vince Dow here. Hope you enjoyed that clip from the Vince Dow show. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And be sure to check out the Vince Dow show live every weeknight here on this channel at 8 p.m. Eastern time. It is a great show. Many are saying this. So leave a like, check out our other clips, and be sure to check out the show. Yeah. God bless.